women's semi-finals here at Windmill, and it is the French versus the Czech national team action for you here on the showcase fields. Le Bon putting up a high disc, Chloe Valet reaching high, and balletic footwork to get the first point on the board for the French women's team. Myself, Hannah Penderbury, alongside Christina Obermeyer. How are we feeling about this matchup? Spicy semi-finals.
Super excited for this. France and the Czech Republic have history together, playing on the national level, internationally, national team level. Sorry, I'm a bit flustered.
We're racing between these pitches, almost like the players on the field in terms of. Well, actually, no, we're not clocking up anywhere near as much exertion as they are, certainly under this beating hot Amsterdam sun.
Mental exertion, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. No, we are by far doing the most mental calories. Our brains are burning, I don't know, probably about 3,000 a day, I reckon.
And that constant talking can't be too healthy.
Possibly, but it's fine. We don't care. We will rinse ourselves to the last shred of our energy to keep the action coming at you live and on demand to watch later on. So a side stack, by the looks of things, and isolation players out in front for the Czech to get us underway. A lovely put into the deep space, sitting and hanging. As we now look for that second effort, that might be a little bit too far, and it is indeed. Just a bit too much of a laser flat shot, no shape and curve, and that one's going to hit the dust.
A good initiation there for Kluster. Puts it up to run under, but not quite the continuation there after that initial piece of offense, and a break opportunity for France to start.
Well, there's been lots of chat from the pundits as to whether you choose to start out on offense or defense, but certainly after that lovely offensive hold for the French, this early break opportunity would give them the commanding lead. A big launch comes out, but there is the great shepherding presence at the back, and the turnover generated.
Yeah, not great position from the French side. Czech buddies underneath it, making sure that this does not connect.
So the O-line once again. Oh, that's a little bit of an awkward release. Going to have to be read perfectly, and it is by both players. Bocanegra Gomez underneath. I think she has it first.
So they will over it to a French disc. Break opportunity number 2.
Lambolet. Valentin, lovely throw. It's going to be a little bit too far. Both sides now with overshoots.
Yeah, they're not cleanly starting this game. Maybe a bit of semi-final jitters.
Possibly. Both these teams, of course, clawing their way through the Swiss draw format, but we're in pure bracket play now, which will come as a relief, I'm sure, to some people trying to track the standings here in Windmill. The almighty algorithm has been satisfied, but after getting the great D at the back, a turnover off the begloved hand. Oh, cheeky high release, you dirty, dirty girl.
Too high, though.
We love it, but also not the best execution.
Nope. Not quite.
A decent movement round the back. And now the jailbreak through this French zone. Oh no, just sagging off, sorry. It's not a true zone. Swinging across. Oh, fires though, and collecting the block Petit Bon.
Looking at the way the Czechs are drawing this up, this offensive possession, it does look like they're working against the zone, but it's just a quick movements that are very key to their offense.
Petit Bon looking at that inside flip break. Going to have to dish something back. That's a good handler mark going all the way around the back for the button hook. Good leads. Oh, and then give go action. Bertrand with the goal signalled, but there is some kind of call. Perhaps a pick across the front.
Yeah, looks like the disc will stay in possession of France, but Petitbon Bertrand rather has to go back.
It is an interesting positioning of the urinals directly behind the show pitch, isn't it?
Never thought of it, actually.
Well, we just got a little bit of a back shot of an ulti.TV jersey. I think that's Felix having a little rest stop. Thankfully, of course, nothing, immodest happening. It's just a bit weird. Anyway, back to the action. A rather elongated chat.
Has turned into a rather long conversation, actually. Don't know what they're discussing. Oh, it goes back to Petitbon.
Well, it looked relatively clean, but everyone's going to have a little chat about it. So I think we're going all the way back. So maybe a travel call at some point. So back in the hands of Petitbon. Similar vibes. This time looking off those undercuts. And they're going to have to just chuck an overhead and hope. Yep, they are. It's a blade into the back section of the end zone and it bobbles off the clapping hands. It feels like a fair resolution. That was fabulous defense from the Czech.
Yeah, very well. Clamping down on each of those cut that came out of the end zone, not giving any options besides a hospital pass to the back that's deflected by one of the French players.
So looks like Janska getting that one underway. Moving it forward, Vavrova. Hoslova. And again, a big throw from the Czechs. This time they do have fabulous separation downfield. Can they now think them together? Lucy Vavrova pops it back. Working up line, Rasova.
And a French player shaken up. On the ground is Barentin.
Again, bit of a long chat,
Again.
but all fairly resolved. Threatening up that line, Razova is going for it, but she's going to have to be redeemed by her teammate. He clutches the goal. Nice work for the Czech team, and at last we do get a hold of score, but it took a couple of goes.
I do believe it's Havertzova with that score there, working in the handler's set mostly, but also good for a goal or two. And it's really interesting that the majority of that Czech team are part of East Bloc.
They certainly are.
Team that has really shown everything they can do in the European stage this year, winning Vienna Spring Break, getting into the final at Spring Invite, nearly securing a spot for EUCF a bit earlier. And on that French side, a mixture of different clubs. Some Yaka, some from the
Some Czech teams, some of the younger players, but that's a huge dish from Ali Mondiaux. Rasta connecting in the end zone and underneath it.
Doing what she does best, distributing discs left and right and hitting spaces on the field where only the intended receiver is gonna get to. freestyle. That's the other team, especially the young guns. The few players that played under 20 just last year around. Few, it's quite a contingent of that team that went to the final, got the silver medal at under 20 World Championship last year.
And I'm going to keep beating the drum. I am really sad we don't have an under 24s team for the women's scene out of the French nation, but hey ho, there'll be plenty of other action there on the fields in Nottingham.
Oh yeah, there will.
So currently everything all on serve in this game.
With plenty of opportunities for France to break. You've been the cleaner of the two sides on offense so far.
Give movement through. Mrazova. Big shooting around. Oh, they do have the separation, and it's taken. That's a really nice flowing offense. Tlusta with the eventual throw.
Mrazova and Tlusta, young side of the Czech Republic. That is the two of them working in the handler set. Reliable players and people to watch for sure. Showing that they can have clean holds just as well as the French side.
Well, that's much more settled than their last kind of attempt coming out on offense. Certainly, you know, still very early days. Talking to both of these teams ahead of the game, talking about who their favourite opponents were thus far. And big shout-outs to Belgium and Germany, who the Czechs couldn't decide they'd enjoyed playing against more. We did see the Belgians fall in quarter-finals in quite a devastating fashion to Lumberjack Mermaids. I overheard the bit of their spirit circle just as I was walking past, and they were apologising for not giving them a tighter game, but it was a good second half. Certainly not the best preparation, I think, for the Belgians, but they will play out for fifth. Certainly fifth at Windmill in this hotly contested 20-team strong divisions, no small task. As the pressure gets piled on for the French, and that's going to be a clutch defensive grab, bringing it to the front of the end zone. But yes, can you guess which team the French most will enjoy playing against, Christina?
The Belgians?
It's not, but we'll keep you guessing. Let us know in the comments who you think that was. We see Chloe Vallée get a nice point in there. And that will bring us to 3-2. Again, we're still trading, but we're all now getting more or less clean. That had one turnover in it, of course, from that lovely defensive effort. But the block, still very early stages. We've not quite got the energy up yet.
They're still running and testing their opponents a little bit.
And
also, they it's their third game of the day. They had 4 games yesterday. So I do think that now is the time where legs get a little bit heavier. Cuts are harder to maintain, and the opponents just feel quicker than they ever did.
It's a high gravity game, this one. Specifically this game. It's that it just feel like, you know, pulling the legs off of the ground is a little bit more leaden than usual. But the Czech women now on the attack once more. Good movement up. A little stoppage, bit of a sandwich in the midfield.
Yeah, one of the problems with this quick offense the Czechs are playing is if someone's out of position, it gets very hard to keep to maintain the open space, and therefore collisions like picks happen more often, and miscommunications as well. Oh, that's a nice low flant into Tlusta.
Popping it around, but that is going to ask a lot of the lengthy limbs of Mrazova. Very pacey offense, as you say. We know that that's the style that the Czechs like to play. They have lots of youth. They have extremely strong legs. So Barentin puts up a bit of a sky ball that's going to be gobbled up on the far sideline. Listen out, moving it forward. It's lovely movement for the Czechs. This, of course, just for the offensive hold. Oh, but throwing into traffic, running through D. Looks for Fiancette. Casual toss back from, looks like Barentin.
And a foul called on that reception, accepted immediately. Possession will stay with France.
Bocanega Gomez looking for her teammates to go all the way around the world, eventually finds the escape. Flat one through. Bertrand finds Fiancette. Of course, that got that fancy run through D. Fiancette, big backhand around break. Pauline Rigolet, that back in the handler spot, that number 7 shirt of the Grenoble-based team. Monkey, of course. In fact, played a European Beach Championships alongside myself back in the day for European Islands.
Ooh.
At the iteration, of course, for Courier Island, but in the European side. We don't see them so much. They're usually just there to fill out and make sure that there's enough games. Oh, but look at that big sort of attacking power blade to the backspace.
And
Collected by the Czech.
Yeah, the person most attacking was Mrazova, making sure that disc gets back to the Czech Republic and wisely taking a timeout in good field position.
And as will we. We'll be back with more of this women's semi-final after this break. Back in the action here, semi-finals in the women's division, and it's not quite gotten to the boiling point we'd expect. Both teams just, you know, clicking the old gas stove, trying to get things ignited here. The Czechs on offense. Currently, we've had a lot of trading so far. So we see them swinging around the back. This good match defense being played by the French. Very intense, good pressure, squeezing the handlers. And the poach off on this near side. Big shot, racing to the deep. Big battle under. Oh, what a clutch grab over the top. Huge scenes. And as of that, ooh, that one stolen away by Kristina Slutzer. My, oh my. Well, pacey. Masoliakova finds the target in the end zone. Haveltsova with the goal. And that's another hold, but that was much better offense. Certainly, I think the Czech team are a little bit live and die by the sword at the moment, Christina. When their deep shots are coming off, it looks mighty fine. But when they're not shooting correctly, it all goes a little bit askew.
Yeah, the problem with that is that this give and go style that they're playing so well and known for, it works really well when you're in it in the game and you're on the same page. But as soon as one person just misses just a little bit of that focus, that disc will go to ground so quickly, and you can't really redeem it because that give and go has to be spicy short passes, right? So there's very little you can do when you have a miscommunication, because ideally it'll be just you in that space. Hope you can follow what my brain is cooking up. It's not only been a long day for everyone else around here.
We are cooked. Let's be honest. We are cooked today, but we are also extraordinarily glad to be here. As that ball gives a relatively short field to Rasta Ali Mondiaux. Maybe that's tactical. We know that Mondiaux's got an absolute hand cannon, which she's using to great effect to find Chloe Vallée up that far sideline. Mondiaux, of course, choosing not to play beach last weekend alongside her Yaka compatriots, but that's a beautiful throw into space. Nanu and Le Bon with the fancy footwork just to keep that tasty in bounds.
Yeah, you can see the connection between Rasta and Nanu. Those two have been playing for Yaka for ages. Don't even want to know how many international tournaments and European championships they have played together.
Well, I tell you what, quite a few. And actually, Ike Kia was in Paris this week between EBUCC and this tournament, Windmill, of course. And she stayed with, and she never actually clarified for me, stayed with one of the Yaka athletes and was using the home gym setup. And it had so many pictures of championship wins, so many medals, like honestly, like a genuine, like a wooden post coming out of the wall covered in silver, gold, bronzeware.
I would expect it's Nanu's home gym, because I see some videos every now and again on Instagram of very athletic player who likes to display her workouts as well.
Indeed, a very talented athlete. Watched under lockdown Nanu doing lots of headstands and the like. So once more onto the breach for the offense of the Czechs. They just want to boost it deep. That one, though, a little bit of pinball in the center pitch. Goodness gracious me, Lasakova working out well. And that's a great goal into the deep back corner.
For that Czech score. Got lucky in the middle there, lasering it, really shooting at that player, but somehow gets her hands around that and then putting it into space to just easily run under.
Well, that was very nearly magic that did not come off at all. Lisakova with a really heads-up grab there, boinging off of her own chest. But thus far, many more turns than we expected in this game. We've had 7 turnovers for the Czechs and 7 turnovers for the French, because of course we're all on serve.
A very evenly matched team, one can see that.
Well, I'm hoping that these teams both continue this form we're now starting to see, where we're getting clean conversions, because it was looking a little bit like we might have the victor of the team that just made the fewest errors rather than made the sauciest blocks. Vallée on the far sideline. Coming in. Was it? Is that Elise Becker? I swear Elise Becker's hanging around on the sidelines. So someone else perhaps wearing that number 39. Mon Dieu. Babican. And Babican, of course, a breakout athlete, having herself a heckin' season thus far. Le Bon on the goal line and sneaks it through the letterbox for another French goal.
Again, a Yaka connection this time with Babakia, who has her breakout season with Yaka this year. Of course, also part of that under-20 team that made the final at the Joint Junior Ultimate Championship in 2022, playing a World Championship in Poland. I do believe they won over Canada to get to that final and went down to the US, but valiant effort and no surprise at all that I don't want to say half, but at least a third of that French national team is made out of young talent that played under 20 last year.
Well, commitment to the youth programs is a really important thing. We are already seeing the fruits of the labours of those who have prioritised bringing up the youth programs, giving them meaningful opportunities. And hello, of course, to someone who I know is for sure watching this stream. It's hard-working mama, Rahel Toshnerova, and of course her son and husband, future Frisbee superstar, I'm sure, Aaron Doherty. I don't know if they've gone for the double barrel or maybe something else. But this is really lovely flow, keeping the disc moving and the angle of attack changing are the Czechs. Avatsva popping through. Kluster now. Love watching that player fake. Maslovakieva. That backwards cap popping through. Bish, bash, bosh, and that must be a celebration as we lose a little bit of sight of the disc because of our tenting action here, keeping the beating sun off of the back of our necks. But it is very warm and very still, so really perfect conditions for the Czechs. No, it's not a celebration. It was a block. There we go.
It was a tight defense celebration by the French.
Celebration of the block. Jamie Rabbit's knowledge. Delighted, of course, to have Jamie doing statistics for us in this game. We're not going to get scores and assists because, unfortunately, our roster's a little bit too quirky for that, but we're working on it. I'm subtly typing, as we see, sneaking through defensive block. Kluster making a hero out of herself and then claiming that goal. You can see the upset there, smashing the turf with both hands.
Baranson.
Yep, got to be Baranton. Feisty athlete.
Yeah, I just tried to lay out in between that, but comes out empty, and the Czech redeem themselves and get a hold there. I would really like to see a Babakian-Luster matchup at some point, because I do think the one thing that will stop the Czechs is really like shutting Luster down and taking her out of that game. And I do think like quite a few of the French athletes are able to do it. I just think that Babakian could be a very good matchup as height as well as speed and agility.
The Czech one is impossible. Like I can do France, but Czech.
So the French swinging nicely around the back. Mon Dieu. Fiery fake sends the mark far, far away into the deep space. Oh, and a delicate flip. Just behave, Ali Mon Dieu. Behave. Close to the goal line now. Looking around for options, surveying. Chatrin. Oh, that's an expansive one across the top. Chloe Valet underneath it. There was a valiant attempt to the bid. And I have to say, both sides are now, because of course there are fewer errors, fewer opportunities. We had 2 turnovers in the last point each. But you can see the frustration on their faces. They're really backing themselves to get up and cause blocks in this match now.
And they did really well, the Czechs, to prevent anything any pops into the end zone. The space around the disc was crowded, so that was the only option, to put it to the other side of that end zone and try and hope for Valet to read it better and to just get that score from there.
Yeah, high stall bailout situations, I suppose. But at the moment, it's all still on serve, all still to play for. 0 breaks yet in this game, despite the turnover heavy points that we've had. Just trading our way through, cruising, if you will, with about 43 minutes left of regulation game time. Of course, it's a bit of a brutal format here. There's no time in the schedule for historic comebacks. 5 minutes between the game slots. Oh my goodness, Luster almost losing the disc behind herself because of the amount of pace she's got coming through. Oh, and a nice pop to finish it off. Mrazova with a little high release dishy.
Yeah, and that goal for the Czechs came quickly, and beautiful flow offense. Once they're off to the races, it's super hard to stop them. I'd really love to see some zony look from the French or something, yeah, to just give them something to think about. You know, second guess yourself, second guessing themselves on open players or some defensive pressure another way than just shadow defense, pretty much. What also is interesting with, especially with the Czech side, but maybe also with the French side, to have a very, very strong O-line. So their O-line is 100% the talented players, and they're putting all the athletes on the D-line. So looking at the stats, it's not a big surprise that it's clean holds, since the best players are on their O-line and they're really aiming to punch every point in.
Indeed, whereas the Czechs are sort of just punching all over the place. They're a really feisty team. The way they play, they have such great attacks. Certainly, we know the French are doing everything they can to try and put some cotton wool around the edges of that Czech offense. But thus far, it's the Czech with the work to do, putting a zone on against the French now. Nanu just sitting alongside Mondiaux in the back set. Can't quite see the number of the shirt all the way across the field. Babiquin coming in. Ah, it's mystery non-Becke. Of course, Elise Becke is behind a camera view on the sideline in an all blue coaching outfit. But that shirt on the pitch, you know, just crediting. Nonetheless. Lebon looking for options. Still starting to rise up. But Mondiaux ever reliable. Oh, Scuba. Yes, please. Thank you very much, folks. I mean, this is, we talk about having to have somebody to deny Tluster from what she wants. But to be honest, you just need to put some sort of Amazonian presence in front of Aline Mondiaux, who's got agility, because obviously she's very dynamic, so you're going to have to move as well. But someone with stature, the right matchup to nullify that arm that Mondiaux has, because that was such a nice scuba.
But you have to, I agree 100%. But when you play zone defense, you kind of want those shots to come off. And it's always a different, if it's a difference to match up one-on-one or play zone defense, whereas you want those handlers to, you know, if you put not as much pressure on there, you will get.
Were they playing up zone all the way up to that point? Fair enough. But still, I still think you need to put somebody at that front of your zone. If you are playing against Mondiaux, you need somebody marking up at that front of the zone who is a good answer, because even though your plan is to put those up, the quality of her throws, you're going to hit the money. She's not wrong-footed yet in this entire game. High release down the line. Oh, and the time on that is fantastic. Clockwork precision. Big release from Mrazova.
Mrazova really showing she has the biggest arm on that Czech team, pushing her receivers to the limit to get that goal. And yeah, I do think, as I said it before, France have to do something different. Matchup defense will not be enough if they want to get ahead in that game.
Well, we have a galaxy point situation, folks. Nick Ho saying he doesn't like a galaxy point. Not a fan. Well, it doesn't matter what you think, Nicholas, because you're just running the desk. Unless you want to take the live stream off out of sheer hatred for galaxy points.
How can you not love playing for Galaxy?
Absolutely. Let us know in the live chat. Are you pro Galaxy Point? Are you against Galaxy Point in this tight game where at the moment it looks like this one might go the way of the French just by virtue of the toss? It's the Czechs under pressure. Valle pushing through. Chatrin. Os. Le Born. It's a really nice combination actually on this line of both young players and wise vets. Big release round. Le Born might not have quite the silky smooth throws of Mondiaux, but she's got a big old body to put around those breaks. Samarco to Mondiaux, and the find is there, just squeaking it into the front cone. And that is half taken. Amon Babican going to work once more.
Yeah, she made that cut maybe 3 times, and this time it was just perfect for Mondiaux. Just put it up for her.
Well, as we get a replay of that one, of course, half-time at Windmill does mean we get a cheeky break in terms of just a little bit of a moment of brief repose. So grab yourself a refreshment. Stay tuned for the second half of this women's semi-final coming at you after these messages.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ulti.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Women's semi-finals trading between the Czech Republic and France. Women's division action in Windmill 2023. Big poach off of the handlers from the French match person defense, but flowing through the pack of the Czech side. A little bit of pause as we adjust and go back to a vertical stack. Dynamic work in front from Razova, but the reset around's taken instead to Tlusta. Hoslova through. That one a little bit low, and does she get the piece? No, not quite. Well, there's not really anything else you can ask for Petitbon, flying around in that end zone, but a clutch grab under hot pressure, and that's leveling us back up at 8 apiece.
Yeah, you can definitely see a lot of trust on that Czech team. Razova with that score this time around. Nice work working it up the sideline. Again and again getting open in the end zone on that front cone.
Oh, well, we're going to maybe try and get some dog cam. Lutzi on cam 2. We have a fantastic, there we go, doggo. An excellent, good boys or girls. We are slightly obsessed with dogs on this live stream, I'll be honest.
That's Ted Boyter playing with the dog?
Oh, and also, well, French fans, currently, well, get yourself to the bonus stream, the drone zone, because we have a score update for you.
Clapham currently getting crushed by the France Open team. They won the half 8-3.
Woo! Excuse me, that's a bit of a loud reaction. Sorry if I tweaked out your eardrums a little bit there, but well, this game of attrition currently, as we see another Czech zone, again trying to nullify the likes of the athletes of the French, and of course also the big powerhouse throwers. Elie Mondiaux with a little bit of space there. Could go for a cheeky blade, but that one's going to blade into the ground. Oh, well, I said she'd not wrong-footed all game, but there is an error and a gift for the Czechs from Elie Mondiaux.
We'll see how well that D-line will work it and convert that break.
Big shot into the deep space, and that's the first break of the game, folks. Yes, please. We finally have something to get excited about other than the slickness of the offensive holds that we've been gifted at the end of this game so far. But that was very exciting. Ottawa with the goal.
The 3SB player showing up for that national team side. You know, it's always seemed like a blown coverage, and it's always a bit harder to match up when you lose the disc during a zone. They picked up quite quickly and went off to the races, and of course not what the French will do, but they have to work even harder now to get it back.
Absolutely. Well, the Czechs putting themselves in front. There's a lot of experience on the French team. They definitely know how to play their way through a tournament. Certainly last time they were at an EUC, they played the format extremely well.
They did. They became 6th place and only won 3 of their games. And I do believe it's around 8 to 9 games overall. Just
certainly is, Christina, certainly is.
And also the Czech Republic back in 2019 won against the French, but still ended up lower than them.
Yeah, funny how that works in tournament formats, but another throwing error there from, I believe, Mondiaux. Gives an opportunity, another golden opportunity. Now, can they make the most of it? Moskova throws under hot pressure here.
Valet believing she got a tip on that disc, but stays with the Czechs.
So, Kudzova around. Kotpova. This is good separation. Satruyosova. Big around backhand break. We like this. This is much more patient in terms of the ask of the Czechs. D-line. They do have big poachers on the arounds. The French trying to push them into negative yards, but that's a good spot to see that Amand Babiquian was hanging out in that soft space, sagging off, ready to make a big old run through layout play.
I want to see one of those.
Well, they could call a timeout here, but no, it's going to be a chuck it and hope. The race to the end zone, and Valet with the fingertips.
She was in a very good position there, and that throw never gave a chance to the receiver. High stall situation, huck and hope. And that second break opportunity for the Czechs go back to France.
Well, they only need the one block to put themselves in front. Do the French, not French, Czech, because obviously the French started out on offense in this game. So Valet up that line. Chartrain currently looking for the next target. Great switching upfield from the Czech defenders. Mon Dieu. Pop up into Valet. And I like this matchup actually for Mon Dieu. A bit of height there. Le Bon taking a bit of contact, but happy to play through it. Fair fight. But closed that door really well. Slinky inside. Great reaching grab for Valet. Bomb of a backhand, but that's going to be way too ambitious. And another turnover gifted to the Czechs. They weren't able to make it the first, maybe with the full stretch, allowing them to put that hook in, Christine. It might work out better.
Yeah, I think they've gotten away from the hucks, seeing as the French are really close on them, always. And they have the bodies to get up and get them.
Well, the first options aren't taken as attractive. But eventually they do find Talakajiva. It's Talakajiva who's also asked for that deep shot. Not the biggest bomb we've seen the Czechs throw so far.
But placed perfectly.
Absolutely. Well, the French are really trying to deny the undercuts. Good switching in the stack. Sometimes that traditional host stack doesn't work out so well for you. Big one over the top. Love the overheads being used in this game, taking full advantage of the 0% wind condition. Zitova. Now good run underneath. Chloe Valet really having a fabulous battle with Kutsova. Nice one up line, just shy of the goal. Oh, 18-81. Love that matchup with the shirt numbers. And it's a second break for the Czech women. Michaela Maskova with the goal.
Again, such good flow from that Czech side, really hitting the open players and seeing the slight disadvantage that the French had in their on that defensive point for them. And I do believe it's a timeout for the French after getting broken twice in a row, a timeout to level. And
absolutely. I don't know what adjustments have been made by the coaching outfit of the Czech side, but whatever they're doing, it's working out. We will take a break with the players, though, out here on the pitches. Don't go anywhere. This match just got real interesting.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ulti.TV we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Well, as we apply extra layers as FPF to our camera operators, the tireless Lucia working in those fabulous Star Wars shorts on cam too, sending lots of love to our female ops on our female games. And of course, at the moment, tell you what, Christina, what a game changer. Coming out into the second half, the Czech women are absolutely on fire. A clean break with 3 passes, and then a bit of a extra effort required for their third point in this second half. But my, oh my, things just getting more and more interesting here. Valet on the far sideline. The French really just need to be picture perfect. Amonique Bobicard, yes! What a huge play, and that is the kind of magic that the French need to find to G themselves up here, because at the moment they're looking at themselves a little bit not quite on the money, maybe overconfident even. After all these clean holds across the board, you know, the Czechs had a couple, they had to grind it, get the block back. Maybe that's it. Maybe, you know, before the fall,
they started to be very overconfident, be calm and happy with the way things were, until that one mistake led to another and led to a momentum switch in favor of the Czechs. And this might have been just a play they needed to stay in contention. We'll see what the Czech O-line can cook up now, if they can run with it.
You're going to have to forgive my pun, Christina. We're going to check it out.
Good one.
Yeah, I make cringy jokes. I make no apologies for it, because I've now decided to wake up. We're getting all sorts of crazy results around here on these pitches at the moment. Crazy time. If you're a French fan, heartbreak on one field potentially, and amazing things happening potentially on another. But a bobbled catch, the error. Christina Tluster is only a human being after all.
Is she?
Yeah, apparently so. She sees that one escape her grasp. A little bit awkward. Has a little look at her teammate, thinks, oh, that wasn't the nicest, but we know she is a almost inhuman athlete, capable of doing wonderful things. But that's an overthrow from Barentin. And an opportunity missed by the French to claw their ways back into this game. This is good flow. Hoslova working nicely. Haveltsova spinning around, dishing to Tluster, who apparently completely escaped her mark. Oh, nice one across the space, using the break side very effectively. Of course, that nice flat mark. I do respect that flat mark when you're that close to the end zone. Reaching down. I see Lakova's going to have to go for something, just squeezing ever closer. Pop back. Haveltsova. Dishing, giving and going. Can she get it back? No. Patience from the Czechs. Oh, there we go. We do eventually work our way into the break side. Hoslova with the pass. And that is a hold for the Czech women.
Yeah, the offense that has worked out so well for them. Again, just working it down the field. I love the lateral movement and the resets. They seem to make no mistakes with those. The things we've seen them struggle with were all deep shots or tiny miscommunications every now and again. But in general, they are clinical, and you can see that they know each other very well, and they have a game plan that they are ready to execute. France, on the other hand, a bit low on energy right now. Faces hanging down a little, shoulders not too high up, whereas there's still everything in this game. They just have to manage to stay within 2 at the end, the very end of that game, to get a universe point maybe. We already had Galaxy. We're wishing for universe.
Absolutely. We'd be well up for the French women, snagging a break back to bring themselves within one of their opponents. This, of course, their opportunity to bring themselves to 10-11. So, of course, within one, level with their opponents. So another look at this Czech zone. Very junky. Lots of players around the disc. And lots of white shirts around the disc as well, as we see Valet scoop up that overcooked throat. Mon Dieu. Across. Raymond. Valet. Just taking the disc for a little bit of a walk here through the zone, but not really penetrating for too many yards. Of course, that junk zone really trying to pressure that, making those short field options less attractive. So pushing from behind. Raymond to Le Bon. Slowly nibbling away at the distance between the French and the goal line. Mostly gaining off these swings along the lines.
I would like to see them connect to the second row of offensive players a little more than just only working in that handler set.
Well, a nice crash in from Liz. Oh, Elizabeth, not Liz. She's got a... Anyway, the windmill rosters are weird. That's all I'm going to say. Mon Dieu, c'est ça, Marco. Popping it back. And what a great effort. The last flick just putting that little bit of signature swag on the point from Mon Dieu. And the French women collect another to their tally. So 11-10, the Czech Republic lead.
Yeah, we saw in that point that Czech Republic not really pressuring the handlers too much, but structuring their defense well to make sure that there's loads of passes having to be played. 38 in that last part.
Shout out to Jamie Rabbit, statsman extraordinaire. His finger must be tired from clicking, right? You know, just he's doing some real strength and conditioning work. He'll be going home, you know, on his keyboard, just, you know, click, 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 getting himself ready for future statsman of opportunities. Of course, we'll be looking forward to when Rabbits has to leave us again for his storied playing career. But a long time in between points. I'm sure the Czech team will be relatively happy with that. They've been running sometimes shorter lines, seeing a lot of the same faces out here, regardless of whether they're starting on offense or defense. Whatever changes and adjustments they made that second half, Babiquian trying to get the block on Tluster. Is it going to work out? No, it's not. She cannot deny her, but we love seeing that kind of action here on the live stream, posting through that next pass for the goal.
And I called for this exact matchup, Tluster and Babiquian, earlier. I am so glad they finally listened to me. Kidding, of course, but that was super close, and I figured they might be just at the same level of speed and agility. And it was a perfect shot out of Mrazova. Babiquian getting super close and nearly getting there, but Tluster aware of the pressure she was under, playing so well.
Well, a lot of times people say, you know, in sky battles, going up with one arm is an advantage because you get that extra, you know, half an inch of hang time. But I really like going up with two hands. Two hands on almost everything. There's a small asterisk in there because there are some things, yeah, you want to get that height, you want to block the disc away, you don't actually want to go for the catch block, you want to just pow that one as far as you possibly can, especially when it's extremely contested like that. We know, you can see from that replay, that Babiquian is trying to do exactly that. Use the momentum, use the force to take the disc, swat it out of contention. But the strength and power, going up with two hands, you just can't beat it. And except when you can.
You just stay in a very different position.
Well, it's a little bit of a low one for Chloe Valet, but she watches it calmly into her hands. Big bomb from Ali Mondiaux. Chartrain looking around, but a pick is going to give us a brief moment of repose. It's very dry conditions out here on the pitches.
Yeah, wind gusty, but just, you know, there, not really influencing the disc quite as much.
We're 12-10 the score. So I think our scorekeepers have gotten a little bit of confusion going on, but we have statsman Jamie Rabbits counting all of the stats, all the passes.
Add 1 to French's French national team's tally
So
here.
yep, so 12-11 now. The Czech trading up.
Babakian with the score on the break throw. Just punching it in over the top.
Oh, I'm loving it. So I'm not sure we're getting it on our screens because we obviously have that lovely replay. But I love Elise Becquet coming across, one of the coaches for the French women, coming across to just confirm to the scorekeeper what the correct score is. She knows what it is from over on the far sideline.
Of course, one of the most important things for a coach or a captain is to always know not the score necessarily, but where the game is at right now. If you're a breakdown, or
Indeed.
you know how important it is for you to put out the 7 best players on the field.
How crucial it is for you to crack that whip a little bit in a loving sense. You know, you don't want to actually hurt your players. Oh, but there's a Czech throw directly into traffic. My, oh my. Curiouser and curiouser this game becomes. Dabin. Throwing flute. Poise. Looking around, an elevator swing pass. We love to see it. And an elevator flick over the top. Chuck it in hope on the pack. And Julia Bertrand delivers. They've got 1 break back. So leveling us up at 12 apiece. The Czech women are still trading up. They got themselves those 3 on the bounce to start this second half. But my, oh my. That was a really weird error.
It was indeed throwing it into traffic, and then so many opportunities for the Czechs to redeem themselves, to get that disc back. But France, this time around, with the better look on offense, getting 1 of the breaks, 1 of the 2 needed to win this game. But it's already in a more comfortable position where we've got 11 minutes left on the clock, I believe. And they have to make sure to stay within a margin of 2 to even be able to, you know, get a universe point, and I'm hoping for it. I'm demanding 1.
She demands. Also, I've been called out in the live chat. Can't be going up with 2 hands, says tall Hannah.
Well, yeah. But it's also, so what I wanted to add to that earlier is you have far better positioning.
Well, I've been roofed before, tall person Hannah. I've been roofed by somebody slithering up in my space right in front of me cleanly. Whereas if I'd had that other hand up, it would never have gotten in there without fouling through my body. So I'm standing firm. Potentials will rule. Is that even your real name? 100% it's not. Who would name their children that? Right, Hoslova. Nice one through to Tluster. Loving the bunch comeback. There's several players out here, but the error is pressured through.
Just talked about the great resets the Czech team has put. And they're miscommunicating on those.
Well, immediately trying to route 1. It is going to be, is that Dabin underneath it? It is Melina Dabin. Now this to put us back on serve. Spicy, spicy times. Barentin, who threw that beautiful high release flick for the last score. Is she just going to put that one up on a piece of string again? No, not yet. Getting a bit of a call.
Pick call again.
It's going to happen. It's semi-finals. You're in the end zone. This close. Oh, it's another high, lofty flick dish. I feel like someone needs to mark Maëlle Barentin just with the arms up. I don't care if she throws wide. Just don't throw over me like that. My goodness gracious me. That was insane.
Maybe getting a different mark, a different style of defense in there to switch it up, to not, you know, let those easy passes go off. On the other hand, they did have a second to adjust after that pick and really like map out where they wanted to put that disc in the end. I always feel either it stops flow and it's really hurting you to get a call like a pick or a foul in a short discussion, or it's like a really, like it's either subs floor or it is just really good because you can focus and go for this one thing that you really know how to execute once you've had one short breather.
So all still to play for in this match.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ulti.TV we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Women's semi-final, the French on the attack, having put themselves back on serve with 3 on the bounce. A response to the way the Czech women's team opened up this second half. Kluster underneath. Collie Doggo in the back shot there. Big backhand huck, players clustering underneath it, rising up. It's a Czech shirt. And it's the 89 we don't have on our roster, Heartbreak Hotel. But oh my goodness, she's going to have to recover it, and she does! Oh, putting it all on the line. Oh me, oh my, oh, that was a really clutch grab.
Giving it their all are the Czechs. They know that they have to, what they have to do to stay in that game. Tied at 13 now. And this is not everything. They have to go more. They have to get one of those breaks back.
Well, I think that was Radka Masloviakova with the huge hero redemption after this massive grab under all of the pressure. I think that might be some Tokai cleats there. Of course, we had their advert. And look at that. Looks thinks she's got looked off. And then just bangs it in. Fabulous, fabulous stuff. And that is what the Czech women needed desperately, was just that offensive hold, put themselves back on the level.
I love that celebration of just throwing the disc behind you because you couldn't do anything else anymore. Done here.
The little, I gave it all. I gave it all for that point. I now want to go and take a little bit of a break in the shade, but I'm sure it might be some portable shade because none of the team will want to be off of the side of these pitches. We have 5 minutes left to run the clock, but we only have 2 points per team left of points cap. Of course, these games out here being played 2:15. So this one, a must block situation for the Czech team. All right, lefty release to Oz. Inside, scooped up by Mondio. Big backhand break. This is really lovely break side continuation work. A truss ball for Valet, and she goes up with 2. That's how you do it, folks. Tall people can catch with 2 hands as well.
Yeah, Valet, great positioning and knowing what to do, really. It's getting up high and early and making sure that French are up, and stay up in front, 14-13.
Well, we've seen the lead trade a couple of times in this game, and I literally mean twice. Trading it back and forth, of course. We had every single point possible in that first half. Took us to Galaxy Point. This one looks set to go to Universe, but of course this is now when your coaching clipboard puts it all together. A triple female set of coaches for the France women. We love to see strong female leaders. Mariso Yuentu Oh, that's really bad. I should know Maurice's surname by now. But to reveal the secret's fun, happy answer as to which team the French most enjoyed playing against, it was Spice Ultimate. Maurice also said that she really enjoyed coaching against that because, of course, she coached many of the young athletes who play for Spice in their juniors campaigns back in the day. So this is a must-score moment for the Czech Republic to keep this game alive and send us to Universe here at Windmill semi-finals. And the Czech men, well, open team, sorry, the men of the open team have just turned up. Mrazova, big launch into the end zone, a chuck it and hope situation. This for Universe, the layout's there, but it's a little bit side on. Hoslova unable to get underneath it.
Sliding attempt to get that disc, but instead of a point, they have to play defense now.
Yeah, you could see there, and didn't quite launch with those. Again, if you can launch with the two going forward, really push yourself underneath, having to go slightly to the right to track that one down. But a turnover. Can the French do it on their first match point? Valentin, who's been devastating for this French D-line. Those high release flicks, hopefully her opponents will have learned from this. Big poaches off on the underneaths for the Czech women. Petit Bon was available. Valentin deciding not to take her off. She sneaks towards the deep space. Petit Bon does have, oh my goodness, exploded coverage for two players, but look at that recovery for the Czech women. Can they keep communicating to try and get themselves the disc back? The pressure starting to rise on Bertrand. A pick will give us a moment of stoppage. Oh no, actually no, maybe it's the fact that there was a frisbee that had landed in the middle of the end zone. Behave yourselves, everybody else. Come on, do you not know we're nearly at Universe?
They probably don't.
Folks, honestly, no respect, no respect. Right, so, Juliette Bertrand, French women's national team, semi-finals. This one to get themselves into the big show tomorrow. Stall count starting to rise. It might have to be a chuck it. No. Oh my goodness gracious me. Strip call immediately accepted. Telly Mrazova doing everything she possibly can to get those long limbs in the mixer and snatch the disc away from Barentin. Oh, it's another high release flick. Is it going to be good enough? No, it's not. It just sails out of bounds. And I have to say, I just want this to go to Universe, Christina. So I want the Czech women to score. I don't care. I've said it.
Me too. I really want to see that getting down to the wire, and Czech women are going to do everything to get that here.
Well, it's powering to the deep space, and there is a hand slap down. Juliette Bertrand makes up the distance to deny that attempt at getting them some space. I don't mind a little bit of huck and D, especially with that dangerous high release flick from Valentin when the French women get to the goal line. So again, trying to isolate Petit Bon and Bertrand on that near side to the disc. Swinging it around, Valentin. Launches, this time it's not a high release, it's just a big old chuck. The defense goes up way too early, and there indeed, France women are going to finals tomorrow. We didn't get the Universe we wanted, but oh my goodness. Lila Petitbon with veins of ice, Christina.
Yeah, just a beautiful put into space. Two defenders underneath it, one French player, and that's all they needed to get that last score. We will get a beautiful replay of it. Just trusting the receivers, hawking it out there. Battle for position. Both Czech players get up so high and early, but the better read out of Petit Bon, and then putting it in quickly for the celebration.
Well, that will wrap us up here for the women's semi-finals. We know exactly who's going to be in the big show tomorrow. Commiserations to the Czech women. We are very excited to see you in Limerick in a couple of weeks, because I bet they're going to do some damage in the women's division over there. But that will wrap us. We will get out of here hasta pronto because we are already eating our 5-minute break between the two games. But thank you so much. Do stay tuned. We will be bringing you both of the semi-finals in the mixed division. Who, of course, is who, Christina?
It's going to be Chut playing Italy mixed and Great Britain playing Germany mixed.
So keep your eyes glued to the streams. The stats from that game, of course, thank you to all of our sponsors, including Force Ultimate and Statsman Jamie Rabbits, doing the hard work out here. He's the real hero, I'm sure. So thank you so much for joining us. Stay glued for mixed semi-finals here at Windmill, which we'll be bringing you next.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ulti.TV